Welcome to another daily update. We're going to take a quick look at the Grinch build, but actually Frank started back working on the Suzuki project, so we're going to actually take a look at that later on in the episode. But for right now, let's just get a quick update on the Grinch build, which basically what I've been doing today is working on getting this door, when it sits on the hinges to sit flush, the door flush to the rear quarter panel. So if you remember right, we put in that back jamb, and I've basically been shaving that back jamb down, so when it stops, when it hits that jamb and creates a stop, it's flush to the back quarter panel. And I've got it, I think, just about there. Let me see if I can get it lined up for you. There we go. It's real close. In fact, it's sitting just a hair shy, which is what we want. So it's sitting a little bit inside of that rear quarter panel, so that when we add paint to that back jamb, when we paint all this back here, it's going to give a little bit of thickness, so when the door closes, then it'll sit nice and flush to the rear quarter panel. But anyways, that's what I've been working on today, and it's been a longer process than I really expected, because if you take too much of this material off, obviously it's very hard to put back. So I really took my time and just slowly brought it down until I got it where I think is pretty darn close. I think this is about where we're gonna want it to be, is about right there. Now, I had also talked about building out the front jamb, which I actually started that. I got my art drawn out, and I was going to start building in that front jamb around these hinges. But then I realized real quick that we're going to run into an issue. So basically, in this area, you have three elements that are going to come together, right? You're going to have a front jamb, you're going to have the dashboard, and then you're going to have a kick panel in there also. Though all three of those elements kind of have to work together. So before I started building in this front jamb, I wanted to get the dash, at least the dash built, and so I can see how it's going to sit in there. And if you remember back, Tommy Martin had actually sent me some 3D files that I could print, including a dash. So interior files that I could print out that included a dash. So it had like a dash and seats and some other elements like that. So I'm going ahead and using that dash. In fact, I'm printing it now. You can see here I have it printing now. It should be done, well, later tonight, about 4 hours from now. I needed to get this video out, so I wasn't able to wait for it to be done. So we'll actually get to see that tomorrow, but I've got to wait to get that dash completed so I can see how the front jamb and even the kick panel are all going to come together basically in this area right here. So I don't want to build in those jambs and then have to try to cut them away to fit a dashboard. So that's going to wait till tomorrow. So that's essentially why there's not a whole lot that's been done to the Gremlin project as of right now. The 3D printer's running. As soon as that's done, we can get back at it. And I've also been helping Frank over on the Suzuki project, which is mainly what we've been working on today. In fact, that's what we've been filming today. And filming with Frank is always takes time. So it's taking up most of the day today. But let's see what he was able to get done. I'll go ahead and move the Suzuki in, and we'll take a look at it. The Suzuki project's actually coming together really well. I'm very proud of Frank. He's doing a great job on this project. And in fact, he's got probably the hardest part of this project done, which was the 4-link setup. So these custom links that we had to make for this short wheelbase, they're done. That's probably the hardest part of this project. And it's pretty much smooth sailing from here, except for one more little hiccup we had, which was because this wheelbase is so short, when the rear suspension would fully compress, those upper links would hit the back end of the transmission and motor assembly. In fact, I've got some footage here. If you look at this, you can see when it fully compresses, it's hitting and even moving the whole motor and transmission assembly. So we can't have that, and we had to come up with a solution on how to fix that. And so there was a few, as far as I could figure, there was a few options we could have. Either we could put a big notch in the back end of the transmission to give room for that link to move up, but not really an option because our spur gear is too big and we'd run into that. So that really wasn't an option. The other option I thought we had was to move the whole motor and transmission assembly forward. And that posed two problems. One, we run into the battery tray, so we would have to modify that. And two, we have to move the whole motor plate forward, which now our connecting points for our rear links moves forward. So all those custom links we built would have to be lengthened. And so this was meant to be more of a simple build, and that really complicated things. And so I didn't really want to do that. So the only other option that there really was, which isn't the perfect option, but it works, is to move the whole motor and transmission assembly up. Now it's a simple solution. In fact, you can see what I did is just made some metal spacers. In fact, let me zoom in here, see if you can get a better look. I just made some metal spacers and mounted it in between the motor and the motor plate there, and it moved everything up. Now, simple solution, it works, but it did move our center of gravity. It moved our whole motor mass up actually 3/8 of an inch. So that's not the best solution, but it's the easiest solution. And this being a build that was not meant to be complicated, I think that's going to be the easiest route for us to go. Now, I still need to build, I think what I'm going to have to do is build out some kind of support in the back. So we don't have support in the back of this at the moment. And so I'll do that for Frank. I'll build some supports that come off of one of the holes in the chassis to support the back side of the motor and transmission assembly. That's no big deal. But at least it has it working. It seems to be a solution that's going to work. Now all we have to do with this is essentially put in the electronics. We got a servo. In fact, I think I've got those sitting right here. We're going to need to put in the servo, and then I have an ESC that's going to be going in it. And then for now, what I'll do is I have a receiver. I'll use one of my receivers and one of my radios just so we can get this running and get it tested out on the trails. And then, of course, when we send it back to the customer, they'll put their own receiver and use their own radio. But anyway, so that's pretty much got the Suzuki project done, quite honestly. Let me put the body back on. You can take a look at it. I think it looks pretty cool. I like it. Now it's just a matter of getting it out on the trails and seeing how it works. Maybe making a few tweaks to it. See if we can get it to perform out on the trails as best as it can. But really, that's about it. And that's about all we have for updates today. This pretty much took up most of our time today. Working with Frank, filming Frank is actually what takes the most time. As you know, that's all stop motion, so it actually takes a lot of time to put together. So that's mainly what I've been doing today. Make sure and check that out in the RC Shop episode coming up. You can see Frank working on this. But I thank you for joining me. Leave me any comments down below. Let me know what you think about the Suzuki project or what you're thinking about the Gremlin project. If you have any, you know what I need? I need a interior color for the Gremlin project. If y'all have any ideas, let me know. Remember, the exterior is going to be dark green, basically the color of the motor itself. It's a forest green. So let me know if you have an idea for the interior color. I'm thinking we'll probably do it. I was thinking doing it leather, but let me know. Hit that like button. It really does help me know to keep making these episodes and helps out with the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and ring that bell if you would, if you want to keep up with these builds going on. And I appreciate you joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.